You guys may want to have some colored pencils today. I'll leave them up here if you want to come up and grab two. So we're going to be shading two graphs. The other thing that would work is if you have, I mean, you can do it with a pencil too. I certainly wouldn't have a pen. But if anyone wants to come grab two of those, make a pen.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And last week we graphed and shaded on lines for inequalities. Today we're gonna do that same thing, but we're gonna have two inequalities on the same graph. So we graph them the same way. But what we want to do is find that region where both of the inequalities are satisfied. Okay. All right. So if we look down here, just a reminder too, if you ever get a line that's like X is greater than 4, okay, when it's X equals, you would go to where 4 is on the X axis. And if it's just greater than or less than, you would do a dashed line. And when you're graphing with X, you kind of use common sense, like where on here is X bigger than 4? Is it to the right or to the left? And it's going to be to the right. Okay, so you'd have it shaded over here. And we'll talk about what to do when you have two things. If you had something like Y is less than and equal to 2, okay, then at 2, you would have a solid line. Okay, and then on this one, they want you to shade where it's less than. And again, if you use common sense, where is Y less than 2? It's down here. Now, the thing about today is you have to figure out where are both of the inequalities satisfied. Okay, so we want to find the region where it's to the right of this line and below this one. Okay, and some people will shade really lightly with a pencil on this one, and then they'll shade really lightly with a pencil below here. And where those two pencils overlap is where you would end up doing it. Some people using colored pencils will shade this region one color, they'll shade this region another color. I would do it lighter. And then where those two colors overlap would be your answer. So in our case, our answer would be right here. So what that means is if you had picked any point in this region and put it into these two equations, it would work. So let's go ahead and try this. They're gonna start off giving it to us in y-intercept form, which is, or slope-intercept form, which is nice. The 3 is in front of the x, so that tells us that our slope is 3/1, and the y-intercept is a -2. Now notice this is just greater than, so that means we're gonna have a dashed line, okay? So what we would do here is we'd go to -2, and our slope is 3/1. So you go up 3/1, up 3/1, and keep doing that. Okay, which is the same as down 3/1, down 3/1. And then with that, you're gonna have a dashed line. So when you take, tomorrow you guys have a practice test, and then on Wednesday, you'll have a test. This problem would be more than just 2 points, because I give you one question, 1 point for the line, 1 point that it's dashed, 1 point where it's shaded, and then the same thing for the other. And then 1 point for where it's overall shaded. So this might be a 7-point question. Okay. Then if we say where we have to shade this, it's greater than. And remember, when it's greater than, we talked about how you shade above. Now, again, this is where it's a little bit hard. What that tells you is you're shading in this region, okay? Which you can shade lightly with a pencil. You can take one of your colored pencils and do that. But basically what you're doing is this is shaded right here. Okay? Then what you're gonna do is go and do your other line. Okay, now in this one, our slope is what's in front of x. So it's -4/1. And our y-intercept, if there's nothing there, what do you guys think it would be? 0, yeah, and we haven't really done one like that. So what you would do with that is you would start at 0, okay? And if it's -4/1, remember if it's negative, you go down and to the right. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, which is the same as up 4, left 1, up 4, left 1. Now, this again is going to be a shaded line, so make sure you pay attention to that. Okay, and this one is greater than. So when you look at that, greater than that line is going to be in this direction. And what you want is are those two gonna overlap? So we want it all above here. Do you guys get where they would overlap is in this little region here? Do you get that? Like if I shaded like this in purple, it would be here too. So in this little region here is where it's pink and purple. So then what you're gonna do, that's where you want, you almost never should have had a colored color if we did grab colored pencils. And then shade that the third color. I am gonna do the highlighter here. That's what color that's. right here is going to be where your shaded region is. So when you do your assignment, you might wanna have, something that can show the overlap. So like I said, you'd probably get 1 point for each line, 1 point for 1 point for each line also if there's dotted, dashed, or solid. 1 point where the shading is for each line, and then 1 point for where the overall is. And if we go to this page, again, they're going to give you some that are not solved for y, so then you would have to solve them for y. So these are a little bit harder. So if I take this first one, 5x plus 4y is less than 20, and I solve that for y, I have to bring this whole 5x term over, and I'm going to subtract 5x. And I would get 4y is less than, and then I'm going to put my x in front of that number, so it'd be negative 5x plus 20. Okay. Then I would divide by 4 on all of these. Okay. And so I'm dividing by 4. This is just going to give me y. This I'm going to leave as negative 5 over 4x. That's my slope. And when you take 20 divided by 4, that's 5. So what that tells you here is that your slope is negative 5/4 and your y-intercept is at 5. So if I go onto my graph there, and at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where it's going to cross the y-axis. And then the slope is negative 5 over 4. So that tells me to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And if I did that again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one again is just less than. And so we're going to have a dash line. Okay. Okay. So it's just going to be up here. Okay. Oh, no, I'm lying. It's less than. Notice my equation is less than, and if it's less than, we shade below. So it actually should have been shaded right there. Okay. Then I need to do the same thing with that other one. So I have negative 2x plus y is less than or equal to 3. And I want to solve that for y. And I get y is less than or equal to, and then I'm going to put the x in front of the constant, because I always want my slope first. So I'm going to go 2x plus 3. What that tells me then is that my slope is 2 over 1 and my y-intercept is 3. So if I come over here and graph that, I would go to where y equals 3, 1, 2, 3. And notice my slope is 2 over 1. So that means we're going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Okay. Now, should this one be a dashed line or a solid line? Solid, because of that equals. So we're gonna do a solid line here. Okay. Now, in this one, notice this is also less than. So basically what we have is we have it right in this region. And when you get to that point, you're gonna kind of look at, okay, in this region over here, it's just shaded green. Up here, it's not shaded at all. Here, it's just blue. And in between these two is where there's both. So what I would do then is in that region here is where it would be my overlap. At any point in this region would be my answer. And you could always pick a point like this one, the origin works, and you could put it into both of these. You put 0 into both of these, that's 0. And you could think, is 0 less than 20? And it is. If I put 0 into both of these, they both be 0. And is 0 less than or equal to 3? And it is. So you can kind of check it too. Okay, so if I go to this one, I'm going to take this first one again, and I'm going to solve it for y. So I'm going to bring that x term over, and I get 3y is less than, and then remember you want to put your x before your number, and you use the sign that's in front of it. So this will be a negative x. And in front of the 3, there's nothing, so we assume it's plus. Then I want to get rid of that 3, so I divide all 3 terms by 3. This is going to give me y. This is basically negative 1/3 x. There's nothing there, we assume it's a 1. And then plus 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay. So then what that tells me then is that my slope is negative 1/3. And my y-intercept is 1. Okay. So if I go to graph that, I'm going to go to where b is 1. That's my y-intercept. And then my slope is down 1, right 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3, down 1, 1, 2, 3, and you could go up 1, left 3, 2. And now this one has just the less than sign. So because it's not equal, that means this is going to be dashed. Okay. And notice in the final, you'll always want to go to the final equation solve for y and look at the sign there. Don't look at the sign up here. Look at your final equation solve for y. And it's less than. So what that tells me, if it's less than, is we shade below. So basically we're shading down. Okay. Then if I go and do a different one, okay, I have x minus 2y is greater than or equal to 4. And I'm trying to solve for y. So if I want to take this whole x term and move it over, we assume it's positive. So to get it over, we're going to subtract x. If there's no sign in front of the x, you think of it as positive. So now these are gone. I have negative 2y is greater than or equal. And remember, you put your x in front of the number. And because there's that minus in front of the x, I keep that there. There's nothing with the 4, so I assume it's plus 4. Then I divide by a negative 2. What do you guys think you have to remember there? Flip the sign. Because you're dividing by a negative, or if you ever have to multiply by a negative, you have to change the sign. So this would be y is less than or equal to a negative over a negative. Do you guys know what that becomes? Positive. And then it's really that this is a 1 over 2. Negative divided by a negative is positive, and you assume there's a 1 in there. So it's 1/2 x. And then 4 divided by -2 is a -2. So I'm going to just write that as -2. So now what I assume here is my slope is a 1/2. My y-intercept is a -2. Okay. So if I get a graph file, I have, let me see here, -2 and +1. So -2 is right here. And if my slope is 1 over 2, that means I go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. Which is the same as down 1, left 2. And would this one be solid or daft? Solid because of that equals. So make sure you look at that. Okay. And remember with this too, do not look as far as the signs at the beginning. Look at that last where it solves for y, look at that sign. And it's less than, and if it's less than, you shade below it. So if I look, this is below it. So my line is graphed here. And you want to pick the region where both of the colors are, okay? So this has nothing, nothing. Here it's just purple, here it's both, here it's just green. So here is where we would want to put our answer. Right here. Okay. All right. What do you guys think? Do you need to see one more? Or do we get it? Everybody gets it? Okay. So your assignment today is going to be a worksheet that I will hand out to you. And again, if you need more colored pencils, if you need to sharpen them, and then tomorrow you'll have a practice test. And on Wednesday, you'll have a test on something. I'll try to find my key for this and set it on the video so we can check the consistency. Did you guys have a next weekend?